Alyssa here with you again today to talk about topics related to workplace wellness. Really, everything we talk about here is designed to help you increase your level of well-being at work. And of course, if you increase it at work, it improves all aspects of your life. It carries through into your life generally. So, Alyssa, hi, nice to see you again.
Oh, Linda, nice to see you. Thank you.
Yes, and this is our 10th episode. So we've done 10 of the, well, this is our 10th. And so what we thought we'd do today is sort of do a review of the last 9 episodes that we did and the topics we talked about, and just sort of review the ones that were most popular. We've really been looking for feedback from you, from anybody watching this, to know what resonates with you, what you'd like to hear more about, and what questions you might have. And we recognize too that sometimes you don't want to post on social media, I'm having this particular challenge at work, because somebody at work might see that. And so we have created a special form. So if you have something you want to share or a particular challenge you're experiencing, you can submit that form to us. We're the only ones who will see that, and we will not mention your name. We can talk about the topic or address your question without revealing who you are, to keep your privacy. So just want to put your mind at ease on that. So, Alyssa, our most popular episode so far has been, what has that been? Taking things personally.
Yes.
So we thought next week we'd actually do a lot more. We'd go into a bit more depth on that, because it is a difficult thing. And that is something that is not just happens at work, but it applies generally in life. And some of us are more sensitive to that and tend to take things more personally than others. So we will go into a lot more detail again next week. But it's just kind of been interesting for us to review, hasn't it? What people are really have been most interested in. The next one was building trust in teams and having that sense of feeling trusted and valued. And so we can go a little bit deeper on that at some point. Then it was saying no. The next one was talking about your work environment, how that impacts you, and then mindfulness. And then the practical techniques, where we shared some practical techniques, things that you can do every day to help you stay calmer, more balanced. Then self-worth, then time pressure, and finally how to enjoy your time off without feeling guilty or without feeling that you need to work harder. So what are your thoughts on that, Alyssa, as we look at sort of what people are really responding to?
Well, I think all of those topics came as feedback from some of our followers, and I think they're all very interesting. Now it's interesting to see how they were rated, like how many views and comments we received on them. And the first one that you mentioned, not taking things personally, I think it's one of those topics that it is very challenging. Even if you're not as sensitive and you have plenty of skills and you are able to separate, I think there is always times when we are going to take things personally, even if we don't want to, because there are so many things that are part of it, and it's sometimes hard to separate because it is our work. We take pride on what we do, and for somebody else to give us a negative feedback or something that may just don't resonate, it hurts, and it's normal. I think it's also part of our human experience. Now, what we do with it, I think it's why we can definitely change, because it's our reaction. So I
Yeah.
think that's where this all of these topics, not only taking things personally, we can't necessarily change what other people do or how they make us feel, but we always can change our reaction. And I think one of the suggestions of future topics, it's about maintaining progress and how we keep track of that over time. And I think it's based on that self work, like self developmental work, that inner work that we do with ourselves. And these tools, techniques, are practical. These are things that we can apply on a daily basis, but it's about creating that habit. How do we do that?
That's
So,
very well said. Yeah, yeah, it is. It's what you do every day that counts. There's no real one trick or
no,
technique or something that's going to immediately change things. And I think along with taking things personally comes the ability to set boundaries and what that looks like for you. What's really helpful. So if you're listening to this and any of this resonates with you at all, what's really helpful, because sometimes people will say, oh, yes, well, it's easy for you to say don't take things personally, but you don't understand my situation. This has happened to me, and it's really hard not to take that personally. So if you're listening to this and you have something like that going on, we would love to hear from you about that, because we can take a specific example and really kind of break that down for you, and maybe find ways that will help you to not take things personally, or to be able to set boundaries or something like that. So we really, really do encourage you to get in touch with us, send us some feedback either through the form, or you can email either of us directly, because that's what's going to give you the more specific help. Everything we talk about has to be in general terms here. So if we have some specific examples, then we can really dive into those and give you some concrete tips to help you.
yes, definitely.
Yeah. So in doing this, since we decided to do this, and we wanted to do something that was really helpful for people and would make a difference. I've been learning as we discuss these topics. I think, even though we do this work all the time and we live this and we know this, I think it doesn't matter how much you know. I think it's really helpful to have reminders and refreshers. And one of the things that I've really found for me is during the course of our discussions, it really reinforces and reminds me of things that I want to be doing for myself. For example, when we talked about mindfulness, it really reinforced for me, okay, this is something I need to pay attention to all the time. How mindful am I being? How present am I being? So it's even helpful for me just to have these discussions. Have you found the same thing?
Now that you mentioned that, I remember during that workshop, not only the one that we did last week, but another one that you did as a panel.
Mm,
Day, it was such a good reminder that that day I was more conscious of how I was eating, how I was like
mm,
doing my food, how I was taking more time to really be present. So it's difficult sometimes because we get into this go mode, and it is, this chip that we have. And it's important to again have these reminders, and these are about that, these type of live streams, the posts that we do, because we're not perfect. And
right.
it also is a reminder for us to do this. I had one of the persons that commented on the post yesterday, and she was saying the most difficult thing for me is how to handle stress during times of pressure. And
Mm,
there are always going to be times of pressure where you have tight deadlines and things like that. And so, again, that's when you need to be doing these things more and more, like setting those reminders
mm,
and building the habit, because it's not only doing it during those critical times, if it's like a muscle, it's like when you go to the gym, you are strengthening your muscles every day. So it's the same thing. Take it as serious as, your if you take seriously your workout and you do it on a regular basis, it's the same thing with your emotions, your mind. We are a complete being. So it's maintaining that habit. So when those critical times come, it's not gonna be as um, as difficult or as chaotic. You're going to, yes, that have several peaks, but you're going to be able to navigate much better during those times.
That's so true. And when you have the tools to calm yourself down, to release stress, to release something that's triggered you, to really take care of yourself through any difficult situation. Yes, you can still be triggered. And this happened to me last week. So something was going on, and I just became aware of how I just had this feeling of dread about this thing I was going to do. And so, once I really recognized that and I paid attention to it, then I started to understand what I needed to do to let go of that. What is it? I knew that I had the tools to be able to do it. But the first thing is the recognition. It's like, okay, this is something that's going on. This is how I'm feeling. You don't just say, push it away. I shouldn't be feeling this. I don't want to feel this, and carry on. You've got to pay attention to it. And that's what we're all about here, is giving you simple and practical tools and techniques to help you handle any situation. And for me, once I recognized that and I realized what I needed to do for myself to feel better and to release this feeling of dread and what was causing it, it's gone. And the beautiful thing is, once it's gone, you even have a hard time. If I look back now, it was such an intense feeling last week. But now I look back now and I try to think about and remember that feeling. It seems so far away because I have released it. So these things work is what I want to really emphasize. Everything that we share with you, we do. We use for ourselves, we use with our clients. We know these things work. And if you can take 15 minutes out of your week to watch these episodes and then share with us, what resonates and what's coming up for you, you will get so much benefit. It may seem like simple things we're talking about, but they make a huge difference. And like Alyssa said, it's that consistency, it's that building that muscle, it's doing it every day, and that remembering to do it. And that's what we're here for.
Yes, and these are small things that you can implement on a daily basis. It doesn't have to be a huge step or something super big. No, something small, but every day, keeping that consistency, it's what's going to build it. That's how we work as human beings. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be difficult.
No, it doesn't. And that's what we're here to remind you of every week. We're popping in to remind you of these things and to share these really helpful tools and techniques and strategies that you can use. And they, like I said, they don't just make a difference in your work life, they make a difference in your personal life too. And this applies to whether you're in a corporate job or whether you work for yourself. Everything that we're sharing here applies.
Yes.
To you. We spend so much of our time working, and it should be something that we feel fulfilled doing and we enjoy doing. And if that's not the case for you, for whatever reason, then it's important to look at that and find ways to help yourself. You don't have to stay in that unhappy place.
Right.
There are lots of things you can do. So that's our message to you.
Yes, finding that purpose and ways to find that fulfillment. For me,
Yes.
at least it's been key in the work that I do. In the past, there was a time where I wasn't in that place where I didn't feel that way. And I was in a very good job. I was making very good money, but things were not aligned. And, one of the topics that I talk about is burned out. And believe it or not, one of the things that causes burned out is that misalignment with our purpose and the things that we want to achieve. And then when that goes on for a long time in our jobs, in our life, where we're not finding that place of happiness, to call it in a way, or that purpose, we burned out. It's like it's not sustainable. So all of
Exactly.
these things, and recognizing, like you were saying before, recognizing that we are in this situation and looking to explore what's behind those feelings. It's really important. And then I'll add one more thing. I know we are almost we are out of time. When we recognize our feelings and we expose that problem, and we also look for ways to explore, to accept where we are. It's not like we're just, oh, I accept the situation and I have no options. No, just accept where you are right now. This is where I am. Not sugarcoating things, not like trying to be positive about it, but recognizing. I think when you do that, you're better able to move quicker, and you're better able to process those emotions, or
Yeah.
whatever is going on.
No, I completely agree. And I think it's in the accepting of the situation rather than resisting the situation. That's when you have your power. That's where the power is.
Hmm.
And, we often think we are powerless in certain situations. I believe we are never powerless.
Hmm.
We always have choices. There are always things we can do. And it comes down to us looking at ourselves and looking at what can I do for myself to feel better. So yeah, there's, and I've just made a note that burnout is a topic we need to talk about.
Yes, for sure.
Yes, yes,
There are so many pieces of it that we can maybe do
so
a
many.
series.
Yes, you could do a whole series on that. Okay, so next week we are going to go a little more deeply into taking things personally. And we would love to hear from you if you have a situation where you're feeling like it's very personal and you don't want to be taking things so personally. Let us know. Like I said, we will keep it private. We don't have to mention your name or anything like that. But let us know. We would love to hear from you. So, once again, thank you, Alyssa. It's always a pleasure talking to you. And it's hard to believe we've done 10 already.
Yeah,
So, yes, I always look forward to this every week. So, next week, taking things personally, we'll go a little bit deeper. Let us know your thoughts, and we will include those in our live stream. So, I will see you
good.
next week. Take
See,
care.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.